Man, listen, I've been seeing it in the comments. I've been hearing it in the live streams. Apparently, Christopher Gregor impregnated his baby mama when he was 21 and she was 16. Now that's a little concerning. So I was hearing it, I wasn't really giving it much time of day, and I was like, let me look into this, let me figure it out. And in the live stream today, somebody hit me up and was like, look at this video. We got Corey's mom speaking on a live podcast, or speaking on some podcasts, about what happened basically from when she had the kid up until the point he died with his father. And it's actually crazy. Without further ado, folks, let's see what Breanna had to say. This was about 2 years ago, freshly when it happened, I believe.
Hi, I'm Kara with Justice for James. My son is James Riker Beal. I had asked Bree from Justice for Corey to do a live video with me today. We have very similar stories. Both of our sons have passed, and it's considered undetermined. Undetermined for a 7-year-old boy and a 2-year-old boy is completely unacceptable. You don't have undetermined deaths for children who are those ages. It doesn't make sense. There's something seriously wrong with it. And both of us have had involvement in the family court system. Both of us have had involvement with DCFS. And both of us actually I put forward 3 emergency motions. I don't know how many you put forward, Bree.
It was one. Yeah.
Yep. Before the court, proving that there was something going on, abuse concerns, child concerns for me, and it was completely ignored. It was completely ignored by 2 judges, and it ended up with my son dying. And just same with Bree, is her son ended up dying because an emergency motion was ignored when there was absolute proof of child abuse. So that is our introduction. That is what we are going to be going over today when we are talking to you as the public. I'm going to allow Bree to introduce herself, and then I will introduce myself. We'll give a little bit of background, and then Bree is going to go into her story, or should I say Corey's story, and she's going to give some very troubling details. So if you are faint of heart, if you are easily triggered, we are going to be discussing sexual assault. We are going to be discussing pedophilia. We are going to be discussing discussing domestic abuse. We are going to be discussing child abuse. We are going to be discussing some very, very difficult topics. So just be warned about that already. And we are going to be having a discussion. There will not be any profanity. There will not be any swearing. We are both very angry at what has happened, but we are not going to be showing any disrespect in this video. So without further ado, here's Bree.
Hi, I'm Breanna Micciolo. I'm 24 years old. I'm Corey's mother, and when he passed, he was 6 years old.
Hi, I'm Kara Witkowski. I'm with Justice for James. My son is James Riker Beal. I am 25 years old, going to be 26 next month. My son was 2 years old when he officially passed away, but when he was in critical condition and there was still a concern that he was going to die, he was 1 and about 7 months, 8 months. And now Bree is going to dive into her story now that we have done introductions.
Okay. So I haven't really talked about the very beginning of my story. This is going to be the first time I really do talk about what happened when Corey was conceived. I'm not going to go into many details because of investigations and whatnot, but so when Corey was conceived, it was not consensual. It was assault. I was 16 when I got pregnant, and Christopher was 21.
Wait, but how?
After that, he,
See, I wish you would just explain it, but I guess she doesn't want to. But how does that, like, were you in a relationship and he kind of advanced too much and he did what he did to you, or was it just random? I don't like how it's just placed there. Even though I believe her, I completely believe her. I'm just saying, like, why not just explain further? Does she have a broken nose? I don't think so. I think it's just a bad angle. 16 to 21 is actually crazy, though. That's actually crazy.
I got pregnant. I told him about it. And immediately he wanted me to have an abortion. So after that, I just tried to stay away from him. I didn't want him to be involved because I didn't want him to try to force me to have an abortion because I wanted Corey. I didn't believe in abortion. And like I said, I stayed away from him for a long time. He knew I was pregnant. He knew he was the father. He didn't come around much for 5 years. And he did once in a while, but it was very briefly, just here and there for 5 years. And then when Corey was 5 years old, I went and applied for government assistance. I didn't know that doing that made them go and file for child support themselves. It was them against Christopher at first for child support. I didn't know that was going to happen. If I did, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have applied. But they asked me who his father was, and I told them. And so they went ahead and filed for child support. And that's how he came around.
Damn. She had the master plan the whole time. She had the master plan. Stay the fuck away from him, and he won't want the baby anyway, so it's convenient to him. So I get it now. Well, I get part of it. But it's almost like he blames her, the fucking drug addict mom who had the baby that you fucking SA'd her to have. But anyways, you're not going to get into that. The drug addict mom who won't get rid of the baby. And on top of that, she's going to hit me with child support. 4 years later, however many years later. So now he's pissed off. I didn't even want this fucking kid in the first place. Now you're hitting me with child support, but in her head, she's just like, fuck. I just wanted the government assistance. I didn't want to fuck it. So now I feel like we're starting to understand the origin of his anger and biting kids in the fucking head and running treadmills and all this crazy shit.
For a while, he just paid the child support. And I guess at some point, his family found out that he took a DNA test and Corey was his child.
Oh, it's fucked now. So now I'm starting to see the picture. She never wanted him to fucking be with she never had the desire to have the dad be in his life. It kind of was just a reaction to what she did. That's crazy. Anyways, grandparents find out, now it's fucked. Now everybody knows.
And I believe that his parents forced him to go to court and get visitation. So
yep, there it is.
Once the visitation started, immediately, that's when Corey started coming home with his bruises. The first incident, he came home. I think it was the second visit with him, and he came home with a busted lip. Christopher dropped him off by the driveway, and Corey walked up. And then once he came inside, Chris sped off. And then Corey came inside, and I could see that he had a busted lip and he had some blood on his shirt.
What?
And
this is some shit. I don't know, bro. I feel like at that point, this is the second visit. At that point, we just gotta go against the courts. And we just gotta run away. And if they want to arrest me or to hold me accountable, good. Because at that point, they'll have to look deeper into the issue. Like, you got me fucked up, bro. I would literally just not, I don't care about no court order. I don't care. We're gonna lose our job. And we're gonna eventually go to jail because he's not getting the fucking kid. I'm kidnapping them. Fuck it. That sucks, bro. That really sucks. The second visit, and now it's like now he's in the kid's life. Now the grandparents are in the kid's life. I don't care how they see me. I would, man. Anyways,
What happened? At first, he was hesitant. He didn't want to tell me. Um, and I asked Christopher. He didn't answer me, so I decided to take Corey to the police station, which he was afraid to tell them what happened, but they ended up calling DCPMP.
yeah, great.
And they came out
Perfect.
and they did their investigation and they talked to everyone.
Just the people we wanted to see. Perfect. Just the people that helped the whole situation, the ones that'll fix everything for us.
And Corey didn't tell them what it was, but he told me and my sister that Christopher smacked him in the mouth because he had cursed. And Chris told them that he accidentally kicked Corey in the mouth while he was going to kick a soccer ball. But of course, Corey had a different story. And that case got closed because they felt like it was unsubstantiated. And then after that, the next time Corey came home and it looked like he had like rug burn all up and down his arm, all up and down his torso. And he looked like he had a handprint on his face. And I asked Corey what that was about. And he told me that his dad thought he was too fat. And he made him run on the treadmill. I asked Chris about it, and he said the same thing, that he thought Corey was too fat and I needed to stop feeding him fast food. So then I called DCPMP, and I guess they thought it was okay for him to do that. But they did.
They thought it was okay for him to do that. Man, these agents need to get fired, bro. They all shut down the whole system. They're not doing nothing. We're wasting our tax dollars. Straight up. If they shut down DPCS or whatever the fuck, what would really change, bro? Maybe that's just an ignorant thing to say, but it really doesn't seem like they do shit. It really seems like they just document. They document for when the kid dies. Then when the kid is fucking dead, they could be like, yep, and these are all the signs. And now we could put him in jail. It's like they're pre-documenting for the kid's demise. Seriously. They're not there to help. They're there to have the evidence for when he's dead. That's what it really seems like. Because you notice how DCFS always pokes their little head up whenever the trial comes around, and it's like, oh, he killed his kid. Oh, he stabbed his kid. Oh, he put him underneath a bridge. DCFS pops their little head out. They're like, oh, we had about 30 instances, and we have them documented here. But you know, of course, we thought, man, fuck DCFS, bro, or whatever the fuck they're different every state, I think. But Child Protective Services, CPS, whatever you want to call them, that's some bullshit.
Tell him that he can't go. You can't put him on the treadmill anymore. And obviously he did again. And after that, I have calls with DCPMP every week. There was different incidences where Corey would have a busted lip, black eyes, bruises all over his body. And then I'm going to fast forward to March 20th when not the next incident, but the latest incident. So Chris took Corey to the gym. He had a gym in his complex.
What is his obsession with the fucking gym, bro? Like, I think he's terrified of being fat or something. Corey knows he's losing his little body that he used to have in high school, and now he's passing it off to his son. I swear to God. This is his insecurities. On top of him not wanting to have a son in the first place, having this mistake that's living for about 5 to 6 years now, and it's just like, fuck, I didn't even want you, and I'm fat, you know, all that. I could see the evil, the circumstances causing him to just to give in to his evil side, because it was clearly always there.
And what he did to Corey was caught on surveillance
You're allergic to the gym?
camera. I didn't know this until after Corey passed away. No one told me about it. So Christopher made Corey get on the treadmill, and then he sped it up as fast as could, and Corey couldn't keep up with it. So he fell and hit his chest. It's I've never seen the video because I can't. I don't want to see that. I don't want that memory stuck in my head. But the way I'm just telling everyone.
And you know what's fucked up is that she did see it, because the case this year, she guaranteed. Well, maybe you just don't have to click. So she'll see the still of it. It was all over YouTube and Twitter and TikTok for like 3 weeks. I feel like it's finally dying down in terms of that clip. But imagine having to relive that shit, which is why you always have to be careful when you're doing content like this, because the people out there are seeing this shit, especially if your video goes viral or if your video does some decent numbers. That's when you have to worry. Your video does well, it's like, okay, did I do anything wrong in that video? Because like she said, like, shit, she couldn't even see the treadmill video. And there was more. Yeah, I don't even think she was in trial. I don't even think she was in court, other than when she testified. I didn't see her face after she testified. But anyways, let's continue.
The way it was described to me. So he fell and hit his chest 6 or 7 times.
Fuck.
And then Chris walked over to Corey and picked him up by the back of his shirt. And sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So he picked him up by the back of the shirt and placed him back on the treadmill, and Corey's like feet were dangling, and then he bit him on the top of the head.
Yeah, that's
and I don't know the ending. I don't know exactly what happened at the end, but that's how it was described to me. After that happened, I like I said, I didn't know about the video, but then when I saw when Corey came back home, he lifted his hair up and showed me this bump on his forehead. And I was like, oh my God, Corey, what is that from? And he told me that his dad made him run on the treadmill. And so I called DCPMP. I made a report. They went and I just checked their surveillance camera, but they didn't tell me that. But what they did tell me was to take him to his pediatrician for a child abuse exam.
No shit.
Which I did. And at this exam, they, went over his whole body and marked every bruise that he had, which it looked like he had got beaten with a bat. It was so bad. So so while we were at the doctor's office, the doctor was asking Corey what happened, and he was very reluctant about it. And when she asked him the first time, he just said it was like from football, but you could see his eyes were like darting around the room, and he didn't want to look at her, so we knew he was lying. Oh my God, my makeup. And so she asked him again, and I got upset, and he got upset, and he told her what he put him on the treadmill and that he was abusing him. So then the doctor told me to take him to the hospital for blood work and x-rays, and I did. And they took an x-ray because he had a really big bruise on his chest, and nothing was broken, thankfully. But they told me that, the next day that me and Chris were to meet and go to the doctor. He was a child abuse expert. And the next day was Chris's day, so he was with him, and Chris was supposed to bring him, but he didn't end up doing that. And so I dropped Corey off at his house around 9 a.m. and Corey was healthy. He was breathing, he was walking, he was talking. I dropped him off, he walked inside, and then everything he didn't show up for the appointment at 12 p.m. And then he called me at 3:30 and he said, I'm taking Corey to the hospital. He's been sleeping a lot. He's not eating. His legs hurt and he's throwing up. But I don't think that was true. I don't think he was throwing up or anything. But
No, he was. Well, she didn't know that at the time. But no, that's exactly what he was doing because I feel like he had a head injury too, somehow, some way. That I feel like because why are you gonna throw up after you get hit in the head? I feel like that's the obvious relation. But I mean, he never wanted the kid in the first place. That's what I'm saying. The second visit, he has a busted lip, and then your son is acting weird. He's acting the way he's never acted before. He's acting strange when you asked him how he got the busted lip. Like, bro, but you've never seen your son. I don't care, bro. I wish the police would come for me. I'm hiding for like a year. I don't know, bro. I mean, it's easier said than done. Way easier said than done. But it's like, fuck him, bro. It would have to be something, bro. It would have, like, and it's not DCFS or CPS or whatever the S's they are. When was the interview? The interview was 2 years ago. But fuck, we gotta do something.
He hung up. Well, he asked me for Corey's insurance card. Hung up on me, and
then he sent her that picture with him next to the kid, like, with Corey over there knocked the fuck out, probably not even conscious. Like, bro, what is? He has issues.
I'm trying to think. I'm sorry. And then he hung up on me, and then I texted him a few times saying, "What hospital are you at? I'm gonna meet you there. I need to be with Corey." I called him a lot. He didn't answer me, and after I would say about like 20, 30 minutes, I called the police and I told them what was going on, that he had called me and said Corey was sick. He was taking him to the hospital and now he's not answering me. So then the police went to his house and called him and he wouldn't answer. And, you know, all this is going on and I'm freaking out, but I'm not thinking like it was that serious. I just thought he was sick and, you know, throwing up maybe. And because he was fine earlier in the morning. And then I get a knock on my door and it's the cops. And I just figured like, oh, they're here. They're going to tell me where Corey is. And yeah, that's when they told me that Corey passed away.
Didn't even see it coming. Like out of nowhere. Out of fucking nowhere.
And it just didn't make sense because he was okay 6 hours before this. And then after they told me that, I was like, he killed Corey. I can't believe he did it. And after that, I asked them where Chris was and like what's going on, because I knew what he did to Corey, but I didn't think he was just not even gonna come tell me that Corey passed away. So they told me they didn't know where he was and they were looking for him. And they eventually found him in Tennessee. And I found out later that he just dropped Corey off at the hospital while Corey was dying and he didn't have anyone with him.
That's crazy. Didn't have nobody. You know what I'm saying? Devilish shit right there. Demon shit right there. And this is why he's going to have a good stay. He's going to have a really great stay in prison. They're going to fuck his shit up. And like I said, he's not the type of guy who I think would opt for protective custody unless they force him into it. So yeah, let him go out there. Let him be the gym rat. Get those muscles, bro. I don't think it's going to matter because somebody's going to stick a sharp piece of metal in his side real soon in prison. I'm telling you. I promise you. His type of attitude in general, his type of demeanor, Nah, somebody's gonna be coming for that ass. Somebody's gonna come for him. Don't let his paperwork surface. Don't let the lifers know what he's in there for. Cause guess what? We're all lifers now. He's gonna be in there for life. They're in there for life. It's just gladiator mode, bitch. We don't got nothing to worry about. The fuck you talking about? A month in the hole? I'ma kill you. That's how they think, bro. Ask me how I know. My dad was a counselor in a prison. Those fuckers, they don't give a fuck. They could just take lives. It don't matter, bro. What is a month in the fucking hole? I will kill you if I don't like you. So yeah, I don't hope, but I'm sure some justice will be had behind bars. All the lifers, they're going to congregate and be like, hey, let's kill that guy. You know what I'm saying?
So, yeah, so he ran to Tennessee, and I guess he got a lawyer before he came back to New Jersey. So when he came back to New Jersey, he didn't have to answer any questions the cops had for him. He pleaded the Fifth Amendment. And to this day, he still hasn't answered one question about what happened to Corey that day. And since then, he was charged with child abuse.
Nah, baby girl. Nah, baby girl. It's going to get better than that. Don't worry.
For the surveillance video that the police had, they retrieved after Corey passed away. So he's been charged with child abuse, but not Corey's death. And I found out.
And I'll tell you one thing: I prefer a mother who gets high than a father who beats the shit out of me. Just saying. I don't know. Unpopular opinion. I don't know. Yeah, I prefer that one. A loving mother who just gets high and, she has problems. Man, listen, we could fix that. We could fix her. A father who beats the shit out of you, you can't fix that. And you just get abused. So you can't fix that.
That Corey passed away from a heart contusion, which is a bruise to the heart. There's only a few ways that happens. And one way is falling from a 2-story building and falling on the ground, and then another is a car accident.
Wow.
And then another is blunt force trauma. And we know that Corey wasn't in a car accident. We know he didn't fall. So
see,
the only thing left
is what I'm saying? A fucking car accident. Falling from a 2-story building. So you understand, he hit the kid as hard as he fucking could. Or maybe it really was the treadmill. Maybe the treadmill eventually made him worse. But something tells me that he was just beating the shit out of this kid, bro. Something's telling me, because I saw how that fucking kid fell on that treadmill. I saw how he fell on that treadmill. That's not no car accident, and that's not no 2-story building. Let me tell you, go look at the video for yourself. I don't want to see it no more. That's not no fucking car accident, and that's not no 2-story building, the way he was falling on that treadmill. That man probably socked the shit out of him. He was probably punching the shit out of him. And literally, honestly, as hard as he could. Anyways, he wanted that kid dead. He didn't like the kid. He didn't want the kid in his life.
That Chris hit him. But unfortunately,
she's assuming the same thing. I should just shut up and let her talk.
Wasn't in a car accident. We know he didn't fall. So the only thing left is that Chris hit him. But unfortunately, right now, the medical examiner is coming back with undetermined regarding his manner of death. So
and I will say that now that we listened to it and that we heard the examiner, we heard all these reports, that makes sense that it was undetermined, because there were so much problems in his body, like minor things. They must have been looking everywhere, like, what happened? What's the problem? Okay, there's a bite on his fucking head. There's a contusion here. There's a contusion there. There's a shit here. They probably really didn't know what killed him first until they finally took the heart, sliced the heart, and then they saw the contusion inside the heart and they were able to figure it out. But I'm sure it took long, bro. So I feel like when they said undetermined, in her mind, she's like conspiracy. They're trying to fuck me over. They're trying to hurt. They're trying to hide something. But they're so fucked up. They don't even know what caused. That's how fucked up he was. They don't even know what caused his death. They're looking, trying to figure it out. They had to get another examiner. They had a disagreement. A whole pile of shit.
As of right now, he hasn't been charged with murder, which he should be. And yeah, I mean that's where we're at right now.
I don't even have words. I seriously don't. You describing the incident with the treadmill makes me physically ill. That
Right.
anyone would put a child on a treadmill and call them fat and humiliate them and embarrass them that way
I
to the
hope he
point
knew
where
he
it's on a
wasn't fat.
surveillance video.
Right.
And just it's disgusting. I mean, what I wanted you to talk about is the emergency motion. Like you filed an emergency motion, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did. I filed for emergency full custody, so he wouldn't have to go there until DCPMP did a full investigation. And, I told them, like, just until you guys do a full investigation, because in my heart, I'm like, if they actually do an investigation, they'll see
figure it
what's
out.
happening. And they denied it the day before he passed away. And it didn't make sense, because if they didn't deny and they ordered it, then Corey would still be here 100%. I blame them.
Nah, something needs to happen. And I wish they weren't so disjointed, because I don't think there's just one DCFS or one CPS. Every state is a little different, which sucks, bro. There needs to be one common. They need to treat this stuff like how the feds do things. You know how they have like a 90%, a 99% conviction rate and all that good shit? Why don't they treat the kids like that, bro? DCFS don't give a fuck about nobody. They just deny shit. They're just there as a figure, bro. They're there to say that they exist. They have a name. We protect children. We love the kids. And then after that, proceeds to fuck the kids off in every single possible way. It's one, it's embarrassing to the country. And two, it's just ridiculous, bro. Like, if you could focus so much on collecting taxes and auditing people and doing all this dumbass shit, why can't you focus just a little bit of money? Just 1 billion on the kids, You spend so much trillions of dollars on war and guns and fucking bombs and shit. Why don't we just spend $1 billion on the kids? I know they're not. I know $1 billion is nowhere near the fucking budget. That shit is probably so low. Why don't we spend a little something on the kids? But anyways, it's just ridiculous.
Not as much as I blame Chris, because no one made him do that. But if they protected Corey, he wouldn't have been in that position.
Yeah, it's highly disturbing. And I was in the same boat. I filed either 2 or 3 emergency motions, and they were completely ignored.
Mm-hmm.
And these undetermined deaths that they come up with all these different possibilities, they leave you basically powerless to do anything. Because if you're sitting here just labeling a child's death undetermined, and then you're giving all these possible causes, but you can't say exactly what happened, or you can't give the definite answer that it's child abuse, you're not left with much recourse. Right. And fortunately, in your situation, you don't have any other children. Because if you did have any other children, you would be in family court right now arguing the fact that your other child shouldn't be seeing this abuser, this person who is a now documented child abuser and is a complete risk to any other children. And what is it he does for work? Because that's also important.
He was a teacher. He got fired because he got arrested for marijuana possession a couple years ago.
What a fucking loser.
And then at the time of Corey's death, I think he was a real estate agent, which he no longer has a license for, I believe, because he can't be around children. And when you're a real estate agent, children come with their parents to see a house, and he can't do that. So I think they revoked his license.
That's good. So he can't be around children. Is that part of the conditions of the child abuse charges?
Yeah, I think it's he can't have unsupervised contact with minors,
Okay.
which still kind of is like, well, how do we know he's not? You know?
Exactly.
Well, and
Which,
the thing that's also important here is the court can make a parent a supervisor. They can make a
right.
friend a supervisor or any sort of family member. And, you know, in my opinion, that's not really supervising someone with a
No.
child. Like, because that family member is going to cover for the abuser or
Oh
their
yeah.
other.
Imagine you had that one teacher, Mr. Gregor. You know, he was kind of a buff guy, kind of a douchebag. Teacher Gregor, yeah. And then all of a sudden you see him on the news for killing his son 5, 6 years later. That must blow your fucking mind. If anybody in this chat was a student of Mr. Gregor, crazy how life works, huh? I swear to God, I stand by it. They really be letting anybody do these fucking jobs. Your kid who gets on that bus with that bus driver, have a few conversations with that bus driver and just see what's up with him every once in a while. Check out his temperature, because I swear to God, they let anybody in these positions. Clearly. Clearly, bro. And he got arrested for weed. What a fucking loser, bro. Like, fuck. How do you get arrested for having... What a fucking loser. That's all I can say.
Family member.
Yeah.
Family protects family.
Well,
So-
luckily he doesn't have any more kids, but I'm scared because he preys on women that have children.
Cry about it,
and
August.
now we know why, because he wants to abuse whoever's children he can. So I'm hoping that if he is dating someone, if someone is around him, they do not bring their children. And I don't even think whoever's around him is safe, even if they're not a child, because he's also a woman beater. He's just dangerous all around,
I mean, he is not only a woman beater, he's a rapist.
Right,
You guys met
right.
one time, he preyed on you, made a child. He's
She didn't break her nose. That's the Italian in there. No, it looked curved for a second, so I was just assuming. I was like, hey, how did she break her nose? Nah, but maybe not. It might, again, it might just be the angle. So he was fired for marijuana possession? No. He was fired because he got arrested for marijuana possession. So I'm sure he couldn't go to work that day or something, and he probably, they found out or some shit.
He's going to hurt other women.
Right.
If he hasn't already.
He's gonna, if he doesn't get charged and convicted of this, he will do it again. There's no doubt in my mind. Whether it's his child, someone else's child, another woman he beats, he has a pattern, and he hasn't stopped since he started.
Yeah. And it's so important also the fact that you were a minor. So even if the sex was consensual, which it was not, even if it was quote unquote consensual, it wasn't, because you could not consent at 16.
Right.
So you have this man.
And it's also just weird. Why do you want to fuck a 16-year-old? That shit's it's kind of disgusting, bro. I'm just saying. It's a bit foul of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't you? It's so weird. Like, why do you even? And it's like girls like why don't you want a girl who's experienced? Is it because you can't handle an experienced woman? Like, what the fuck are we even doing? It's always the people like this that get caught up with shit like this, with the weirdest cases, fucking up kids. It's always the ones that look at Micah Miller and the pastor, they love them some young women, young girls, I should say. And I feel like it's because they're not confident in their ability. Well, I should say I know so. They're not confident in their ability to withstand. That's not the word. They're not confident in their ability to sustain a grown-ass woman. That's all you have to say. So they'll go for a little 16-year-old that don't know nothing. And then they'll go and teach her their fucked up ways of living life and what's, quote-unquote correct in their terms of living life. So, yeah, it's always these guys.
boy, child, whatever, who has all this family background with money and connections preying on women. And that's a very
I would have
dangerous
zero
combination.
problems if he was 17 and she was 16. What's wrong with that? And then if he turned 18 and she was 17, I still don't see a problem with that. And then she turns what? 18 and he's 19. There's no problem with that. That's why they have that. That's why they have that high school law, like where you're both minors, and then one becomes like an adult while that one's still a minor, but they've been having sex and they're still in a like that makes sense. This is nothing. What's the name of that law? It happens a lot for like seniors and juniors and shit. That happened one time with one of my high school friends. He was like a year older, and they had to get this. And I think he just married her to make it not weird. They like got married or some shit. I forgot how that went, but it's some law that Romeo and Juliet law, or some shit like that. But this is nothing like that. They didn't. The man was 21. That's gross. That's weird.